Hello, folks. Welcome back. Bizarre situation unfolding in South Africa where the premier of Gauteng province, the most populous and prosperous and wealthiest part of South Africa, is proudly showing videos ripping down banners paid for by the trade union movement Solidarity, which indicate that South Africa is not exactly a great place to be when it comes to race laws. Yeah. Solidarity, a trade union, is preparing for legal action against the city of Johannesburg after its eye-catching campaign banners were unceremoniously removed by municipal authorities. Now, the large billboards and banners have gone up to say, "Welcome to the most race-regulated country in the world." They appeared on some of Johannesburg's main roads. Solidarity said the campaign is designed to coincide with the high-profile G20 summit, aiming to leverage the global spotlight on South Africa to highlight issues of racial injustice, economic decline, and governance failures. But on Monday, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi, using X, wrote on there and accused the creators of those banners of seeking to undermine efforts for transformation towards an inclusive society that acknowledges the injustice of apartheid. Here's a few problems with that before I read to you what he actually said. First, who is failing to acknowledge the injustice of apartheid? Nobody. But you keep harping about it. What more do you want? And efforts of transformation. Well, transformation is just a dog whistle for black supremacy and patronage doling out to the friends and favored of the ruling party. There's no transformation society. There's 3 times as many black South Africans living in abject poverty as did under the National Party, under apartheid. 10 million, now there's over 30 million people living in abject poverty. Who brought you that? The African National Congress. Wasn't brought to you by the National Party, Jan van Riebeck, Hendrik Verwoerd, or apartheid. It was brought to you by the ANC. Simple as that. What he said was the following: racists are loud and clear. They hate transformation and are busy vulgarizing our efforts to build an all-inclusive country that recognizes the injustice of apartheid. We must defeat them. To do that, we must bury our petty differences and unite the like minds and push them back. But the problem with that, folks, is all-inclusive country. You've passed race-based laws that limit the number of white men who can serve in private corporations, private sector, not even government. You have no authority to do this to companies. It's bullshit. It's racism. You've limited it to 4%. So white men can only occupy 4%, Indian men less than 1%. That's inclusive. You force white students, colored students, Indian students get higher marks to get their PhDs awarded than black students. That's not inclusive. That's exclusive. That's not justice. That's injustice. Not only are you ignorant of the injustice of apartheid, you are replicating, duplicating, and expanding them. 140 plus unjust racial laws. It's insane. Bury our petty differences. Who's we? Black supremacists? Most black South Africans aren't going to buy into that argument. They don't have anything against their neighbors who are white or brown. That's you politicians. Now, the billboard was placed on the M1 South between Smith Street and Empire Road. And Solidarity said that it had followed all the necessary procedures through an advertising agency. Their spokesman, Peter Jordan, said all indications are that the vandalism and removal of the board were unlawful. It appears that the city council itself is the criminal party that removed and damaged Solidarity's banner. It is clear that they did not want the message to be seen. But the irony here, folks, is that by doing this, most people don't pay attention to these things. Even if they're large, they drive by. A few people might note it. Maybe somebody might take a picture of it, risking an accident, driving by, taking the photograph. But the reality is most people wouldn't talk about it. But now the world is talking about it because Panyaza Lesufi is an attention seeker. And he's a race merchant based on his words right there. Calling people racist, there's nothing racist in this whatsoever. Nothing. It doesn't promote any group above another group. It simply says equality before the law is what matters, essentially. He's the one bringing race into this, just like ANC officials are the ones that keep ginning up the concept of white genocide. Not Solidarity, not AfriForum, not the DA, not the Freedom Front Plus, but the government of South Africa and its media acolytes. Now, finally, one of my viewers said something very interesting today. They said that the removal of the Solidarity banner feels straight out of Animal Farm, George Orwell's classic. First, they said all voices matter, then quietly painted over the ones they didn't like. But the problem here, and if you look at the comments on X in response to Panyaza Lesufi showing the video removing the banners, is that he can't handle the truth.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
He doesn't want to hear the truth because the truth runs counter to his narrative. He's not about reconciliation and about advancing all South Africans. Not at all. He's about self-aggrandizement, self-enrichment, and pure political power. That's what it's all about. So is it actually illegal? Is it a crime? Well, someone went to Grok and said, wasn't this illegal by local government? And Grok, I'm not a big fan of AI, but Grok says, yes, the removal of the banner by municipal workers, as shown in the video posted by Panyazi Lusufi, appears to contravene local government regulations, specifically the city of Johannesburg's outdoor advertising bylaw of 2022. According to this bylaw, the removal of signs or banners without following the proper procedures, such as serving notice or obtaining consent, is not permitted unless the sign constitutes a danger or is obscene, neither of which comes into play here. So they're playing fast and loose with the law. Yeah, this one isn't going to end soon. And what a look for the G20. Not solidarity putting up the banners. People probably wouldn't pay much attention to it. But now, the government of South Africa, the Johannesburg Metro Police Department, reportedly the ones that tore this down, they've exposed themselves as censors. The very things, the racial oppression that Donald Trump is talking about, and they deny it, they go and take action for the world to see that they won't let people have freedom of speech, which is a bedrock of their constitution. Basically, he said South Africa doesn't follow its own constitution when it comes to minorities. And Panyazi Lesufi has proven him correct once again. Talking about race, there's nothing about it in race. The race is coming out of your mouth, just like the white genocide, red herring. Cheers, folks. What say you, South Africa, Mzansi?